Before the video starts, I just want to let you guys know that you mean the world to me, and it means so much to me that you support me. Please drop a like down below if you can, and take that time to smash the subscribe button. It's always free, and when you ding the notification bell, you ensure that you don't miss any of my content. Helps out the channel a ton also. This video will be a part of its own series where we talk about the roster of Smash, their strengths and weaknesses, why to play them, and what each character is all about, their plots and their summaries of their origin games. This series will also be a complete guide to the Smash as a competitive series. We'll talk about a ton of things, like how to play neutral, disadvantage, and plenty more. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into the video.
I said empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow, or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
Just like languages, Smash is fluid. No right or wrong answers for any questions asked. Picking the right option to change the ebb and flow of the battle, understanding your character is as important as understanding yourself. Each character with their own strengths and weaknesses. Someone like Cloud does great out of shield and pressuring another player's shield, but he can't recover very well. Being able to understand the strengths of one's character can greatly increase the odds of winning a match. But what goes into choosing one's character? Sometimes understanding how to choose a character best suited for you is just as important as playing well. If you have fun, be my guest and pick any character on the roster. But if you're here to win, get knee deep in the blood of your enemies, and take the world by storm, then pick Pichu. Oh, what? Pichu got nerfed? Alright, then how about Jigglypuff? What? This isn't Melee? Maybe you should make that decision yourself then? One true to your heart. I'll be your guide to Ultimate today as we explore how to choose a character.
I've never seen it!
While choosing a character to play for Smash, keep in mind what's known as character loyalty. When you truly care about a character, and not what they play like or how good they are, sometimes just who they are or one of your favorite games are enough motivation to start playing the character for Smash. For a beginner, one of the things you should worry about when picking a character is why you're picking them. To start, do you like space? If so, choose a character from space. Fox, Falco, Wolf, Ridley, Samus, all are cool space characters. Do you like people with swords? Link, Roy, Marth, and his 17 brothers are the pick for you. Picking a character based on who they are becomes much more important when you're starting to play, because you can feel for who they are. This is the way you can really find a character to represent you before getting too deep into the game. You have to vibe with the character. Not liking how a character sounds or what they do in the games is just as good as a reason not to play someone you're good with than it is to play someone you do well with. From personal experience, my close friend loves Star Fox, especially Wolf. Maining Wolf would be so easy for him, and he does really well with him as well. But the problem comes in when he refuses to play the character because they have the Star Fox victory theme instead of the Wolf theme. Why is something so small a problem? Well, someone like Dark Pit has their own theme, the Dark Pit theme. Wolf has his own theme. So knowing some characters get special treatment and your favorites don't can often be off-putting. You intend to play this character a lot. Being able to enjoy them is just as important as how good you do. If this is the character you put time into, you could easily sink thousands of hours into the game. Not that you're going to. I mean, unless you do. Not that you can't change who you play, but you want to be able to stick to who you pick for as long as possible. Hearing a victory theme, or someone's obscure screams, can really keep you away from some fun instances. It's important that you value everything you can with your main. I know plenty of people not maining someone just based on not having their own voice clips from the earlier games, not having their own victory theme, having a weird or bad hitbox on out of shield options, not looking flashy enough anymore, doesn't really matter the reason. What matters most at the end of the day is why you're picking them up. If it's up to you, why not just put in the work to play someone you want? Now to get a tad more complex. Well, maybe you don't care about who the character is, and you can play anyone no matter how they sound or how they need to play. Some people are just natural campers. Boo! But sometimes, some people really like to play defensively and strategically place traps and projectiles for your opponent to move around. Someone who is naturally fitting to that playstyle won't blend well with characters like Roy, Chrom, or any other big rushdown sortie. They would naturally be able to handle characters like Snake, Rob, or even Steve. Not that this player can't naturally play Roy or Chrom with practice, or something of the sorts. It's just a bit of elbow grease and hard work away. I mean, hey, aren't we all just trying to find the best characters to play anyway? The best way to explain this phenomenon is playstyle. Characters are usually grouped into genres, or types of playstyles. Learning one character with a playstyle can help you learn and adapt quickly with other characters in the same group. Characters like Roy, Fox, Joker, Mythra, and Pyra can all fall under a category called Rushdown. Rushdown focus on being able to be so close to your opponent you could swiftly overwhelm them, and overcome them with your fast aerials and safe tilts. Other characters like Young Link, Rob, Villager, Samus, and Banjo and Kazooie are considered zoners, and their archetype focuses on racking up damage through projectiles and cornering your opponent to abuse their bad habits you've been learning throughout the match by probing with the projectiles. All-arounders and many more archetypes also exist. Characters can belong to many different types of archetypes at once, or only just one. Roy in specific is a rushdown sortie. He excels at being able to close a distance between him and his opponent, and space his sword properly to control what part is hitting his opponent, getting rewarded for what part of the sword he hits you with, based on how close you are to his hilt, sometimes taking the weaker move by putting you at the end of his blade to trick his opponent or to change how they'll fly away after being hit, giving him access to more combos, or sometimes letting him poke from a distance. Roy has a sword. He keeps fast moves with longer range than most brawlers. He gets the range of the sword without the downside of being able to be hit where he's swinging from. A good example to put this into perspective is Mewtwo. Mewtwo has a tail that extends how far he can swing, but unlike Roy's sword, if you were to be hit in the tail, Mewtwo would take the damage, creating a disjoint where the sword is a defining feature of most characters with the sword, coining the playstyle or the character archetype of Sortie. Finally, a big thing to keep in mind: tier lists. Now, tier lists and archetype are going to get their own video down the road, but just like we did for archetypes, let's briefly go over the idea of tier lists. Tier lists are by no means end-all be-alls, but having a character that does well against every other character in the game can greatly increase your chances of winning. Again, tier lists are by no means end-all be-alls, the final deciding factor into choosing a character, but they can certainly help out a lot when playing a game a lot. One player at maximum potential with a character like Lucas can do much better with a character like Wolf. Tier lists help because having a character with lots of jank or broken tech can often help mitigate skill and help newer players by teaching them core fundamentals the game rewards. Having higher highs and lower lows as well can keep you from losses. At the same time, having a character with a high skill cap could be a problem to start. Having a character like Joker who doesn't kill without knowledge of how to, i.e. back air or ascent, Joker is undoubtedly one of the best characters in the game, but without drag downs or knowing when to use each move, you lose a ton of the character's potential. Ultimate is still widely considered as the most balanced Smash game, though tier lists still matter, not as much as the older games. Tier lists also cover both ways though. If you pick a low tier, then your advantages come that your character is in play less often. Fighting Wolf is scary. Blaster plays neutral for your character, and he doesn't have to get his hands dirty ever fighting. He just stands there and watches his opponent flounder on the stage, but fighting a good Lucas is much scarier by far. They wiggle, and slide across the stage like the snake he holds. At the top of the ladder, you'll have tons of experience against every character, but you don't have that right now, or at least no one expects you to. You may play thousands of Wolfs, but how many Lucases have you even seen? Something can become valuable in obscurity. When everyone does something, it becomes way more valuable to be the difference, the change, the Lucas in a sea of Wolf. A character like Lucas isn't a top tier, but widely considered a mid tier. When you see Clouds in the meta versus when you see Lucas, one has clear dominance over the others. Having your character hide away in the depths of Smash history will make it a lot easier to get the edge on your opponent, through character knowledge alone. Some battles are fought just on how much you know your opponent's fighter. Pick a stronger fighter and run the risk of being more recognizable, not able to hide your tricks the character is using. Chrom is a great example of this. With his early popularity, his 0 to death combo kill into Suicide Up B, it's very well known throughout the whole scene now. Characters like Dr. Mario have strong combos, and without their knowledge for what to look for, you run the risk of getting played by their tricks. Playing against early dominance of Chrom would prepare you against him, but someone like Dr. Mario, who's never seen the limelight, would have you quaking with no knowledge of what to look for. Person to person, your scene may change. Specifically, Japan's Smash scene saw tons of Steve. They were the first wave of malicious murderous intent that the little 2-block tall man brought with him. America didn't have that. We had a couple of good Steve players, but he was a theoretical god. When Japan's Steve Akola took the world by storm, no one had any clue how to play against Steve. Tiers grow and change as the community does. Smash Ultimate recently just went under its last patch a little more than a year ago, if not more. Because of this, the tier list is finally starting to calm down and settle a bit more into history. Characters are being fully explored with no fear of them being nerfed into the ground. Steve shows this off perfectly. He was relatively controversial at release, with many people thinking that his wooden tools were useless, but to the surprise of many, we found out just how good he was, landing himself comfortably at a high tier placement. This year, Steve has been showing up left and right, taking the world by storm. For a brief while, people thought Steve would climb into the status of God. He controlled the meta for a period of time, and has jumped higher in the tier lists. So now that you've looked at a tier list, any perhaps, the ones we went through, or even some on your own time, do you care about them? Are you going to main a top tier? Or are you really good with low tier characters that can gimmick people with? Every character exists in its own world, and has its game plan, or its different cheese to close out stocks differently and fast. What type of world are you willing to portray with your gameplay? What type of world are you trying to portray with your gameplay? Smash is like a river stream, fluid, ever-changing, and constantly moving forward. The only innovations made are by the people playing. The character you enjoy is truly up to you. Playing a character to show your character is cool, that you're the best, or that you're good at the game. Playing a character because you enjoy them, or because you want to prove something to someone. Playing someone because the character doesn't feel appreciated. It's all the same. Just love a character. Find that kind of bond with a character. It doesn't matter why you found your bond, but treasure it. These characters are our partners in this journey, our catalyst to showing off who we are. We represent the character as much as they represent us. Honestly, I can't wait to see you guys on the next video in the series. We're going to cover neutral as a concept, and then go over, the next game mechanic after that. We're just going to keep hitting things on the list until we finish off Ultimate as a series. Showing off the strengths and weaknesses of each character is also going to be represented in the Character Spotlight episode, so don't miss that either. I can't wait to see you guys next time. Like always, thanks for watching.